Welcome to Light V with me, Wanda Toby, where we focus on carefree, stress well, light and lively living while loving and reviewing entertainment tidbits. So, if you are a Coming to America 1 lover, then you know Coming to America 2, Coming to America was released on Amazon Prime this weekend, Friday night, and people have lots to say. I did post my review about it on my blog, lightv.com, so please go ahead and check that out. And we're going to kind of talk about it a little bit more. This will have some spoilers, but I'll let you know when I get into the spoilers if you haven't watched it already. So let me just right off the bat, I gave it a C. Just a C, um, almost like a C minus, but it had a lot of Okay, just a C. We're gonna stick with a C. That's what I gave it on the blog. We're gonna stick with that. So here are all the things that I liked about the movie. I loved seeing all the casts together, the old cast. Like love, love, love. They had most of the cast together. Um, it basically picks up 30 years after the first one, and Hakeem is now in Zamunda. The majority of it, I feel like, takes place. Yeah, the majority of it takes place in Zamunda, and him and Simi, they do go back to Queens, only this time to find a heir, a son. So he has a family. He's still with Lisa in Zamunda, and um, it's so the property, right? That's the castle. I just actually read this today. That's actually Rick Ross's house, formerly Evander Holyfield's house. So there's an article out there talking about all the different things that they did to get the place prepared, and how, being that Rick Ross was such a fan of the first one, he was more than happy to let them use his place. And that part was beautiful. So I love the setting. Well, we'll talk more about the setting in a little bit, but I love the pageantry, the costumes, the hair designs, just the costume design and the set design and all that was nice. It was good. I just love seeing all that stuff, right? Um, Also enjoyed, like I said, seeing the old cast back together. Loved it. It so I enjoyed it because I honestly didn't have, I don't want to say high expectations. I just didn't have expectations. I was just like, you know what? I know it's not going to be better than the first one. I know it's not even going to be remotely better than the first one. Because think about when the first one came out. Um, there was a lot of added factor to it being good, right? Uh, 30 years ago, not that many black movies with majority black cast, uh, melanin popping, looking beautiful in royalty, regalness, all that. There wasn't. There wasn't. It wasn't. So being that we had that at that time, it was a big deal. Like I'm gonna say, Eddie Murphy was doing his thing because I was around the same time, around his era, Harlem Nights, Boomerang, like he was killing the game at the time, right? So it I already knew that this one wasn't going to be better than that because there were so many other factors that made that Coming to America so good. And there was not a lot, if anything that you would kind of qualify as buffoonery. Because in this second one, there's a lot of buffoonery going on. But hey, I'm fine with that, sort of, kind of. But the first one, there wasn't a lot of buffoonery, and there was just so much to appreciate. Like, yes, look at this movie that we got in a time where we weren't getting that. It was given what was supposed to be gave. But um that was that so that was why I was like, nah, it's gonna be fine because I'm not really expecting that much. So I appreciated that. To me, it was more like a stroll down memory lane. Like it was like a coming to America, the first one reunion, right? With the people that are still there, and let's throw in some stuff. It was like, oh, let's get together, let's do this reunion, and throw in some other plot stuff into it. So that's kind of how I went into it. That's kind of how I took it. So everything else, I was like, whatever. That's kind of corny, but it's so nice to see the cast together. It's so nice to kind of like catch up and see everybody, right? It was almost like a high school reunion. I know. I mean, I feel like that you guys understand why it's a C. Like that's the best way that I could explain why it's a C. Now, that's why it wasn't a D. The costume, the set, all that. That's why it wasn't a D. So let's get into some of the things that I was just like, really? So it all right. So it kind of reminded me of Soul Plane, some parts. Yeah. I don't know if I'm making sense or if y'all understand what I'm saying, but um, I appreciate Soul Plane for what it was, right? It's just this corny movie with a lot of tropes and stereotypes and stuff like that. Um, and stuff that happens that you're just like, why is this happening? Like, how does this make sense? Like, like a B movie, like a C movie, right? That's what it is. Yeah. So now, well, let's talk about the spoilers, right? Um, James Earl Jones. Loved James Earl Jones. Loved him in this. Uh, Let me say the acting. There, I had no issues with the acting whatsoever. The acting was, they worked with what they were given. So I'm not. Oh my God! You know how you watch some movies and the acting just sucks. All these people are all professionals and all that good stuff. So the acting was fine. Like no issues with the acting or whatever. They worked with what they were given. So that, if anything, definitely the writing uh, could have been better. That's just it. The writing could have been better. So James Earl Jones. Here's the thing: that what's happening? Why are we doing this? Like this is okay. Uh, his whole, not his whole scene, but his whole death scene. Like I know it was meant to be comedic and give flowers while you were there to receive flowers, and it it kept true to character, I would like to think, because if you remember his character in the first one, he was a bit selfish. He was a king. He was like, yo, I'm the king, they can wait, they can whatever. So and he was old school, so they kept that characterization, like he didn't change or anything like that, and I understand why they kept that. It's more almost like a plot point, because it had to be that way in order for Akeem to show what he was still trying to break free from and make a change and be more of a progressive leader, right? So I understand why they kept him that way, which fit into why he was like, this is where the spoilers come in. Sorry, so if you want to stop, you can stop now. But which would fit into why he was like, okay, well, I want to have my funeral now because I'm fin to die, and let's have my funeral now. And that was just, I still feel like that was a little corny. Um, I don't know. I feel like it could have been done better. It was enjoyable. Was it? Okay. I'm gonna take that back. I don't know if it was enjoyable. I was just like, oh, okay, this is different. So it was at that, and I'm happy that happened earlier on because it was at that point that I knew this was going to be a C movie. uh, so then there was the first barbershop scene, which I enjoyed. Like that whole scene. I loved them going back. I loved seeing all the different characters in the barbershop. They were still there. It was still cool. Actually, the jokes were funny. I liked the first barbershop scene. Uh, I did not. Well, I guess okay. So Laval, um, the actor that played him, like I'm actually gonna look him up because I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. I haven't seen him in a lot of stuff. So people deserve a chance to break out. But I feel like, and maybe they did it to be funny, but Wesley Snipes had a son, right? And Rotimi played him, and I feel like Rotimi would have been better as Laval. I don't know. He was just like Laval was just giving me regular vibes, and I feel like Rotimi could have uh, given me regular vibes and then rose to be princely. Does that make sense? Um, and maybe because I don't know the guy, he's in the I don't know. He just wasn't I just wasn't feeling him in the role. Now, he did a good job acting and all that. I just wasn't like feeling him in the role. Leslie Jones, I actually enjoyed her performance. I just felt like again, she worked with what she was given, and I felt like uh if they wanted to demonstrate, in those movies, they always want to demonstrate classism, basically. You have the royals and things like that, and you have these lowbrow, hood, ghetto folk, whatever. But and I feel like they could have uh, still represented that separation, that royalty to regular folk without making them ghetto as heck, right? Uh, but I mean, obviously she was a hard worker, he was a hard worker and stuff like that. So that I appreciated that they didn't really, make her, I don't know, off the system or whatever. Um so that was good, and he was trying to find work and stuff like that. So that part was good. What else? What else? Okay. Wesley Snipes and what he played? Okay, General Easy. What was going on there? Like what was happening? Uh, Again, I get they were trying to be funny. Um, I guess he he was a fake warlord, a wannabe warlord. I don't even know. Uh, but again, he worked with the material he was given. Um, and like, okay, and the stuff that I had issues with, right? So you are a king right now to a whole ass country, right? And you leave with Semi, who said he's not a warrior. Like you don't got no security. You don't got your daughters are security. Like these people just walk up in the palace. Like you don't even pretend like you got security, like you got some type of anything. Like what were y'all doing for 30 years? What? Um that part was like there's just a little bit of writing could have fixed that, right? A little bit. And then I feel like they missed an opportunity to uh um kind of kill the ongoing stereotypes about the continent, right? Um, or they missed an opportunity to just showcase a little bit about Zamunda, like maybe a minute, 30 seconds, right? Like, what is this kingdom? All we see are we see an elephant. Do we see zebras? I don't remember. We see the lion. We see the forest. We don't really see this kingdom, like the sprawling kingdom. What? No marketplace, no metro area, no whatever. So and you got old girl talking about, oh, what hut am I gonna get, or save me a hut. Come on now, do better. I'm not saying you gotta put the whole um um black representation on your shoulders, but it's like 30 years later. What have you been doing? What what so I felt like kind of that was a missed opportunity in the writing, uh and maybe not in the writing, but in the producing and the set design, or not necessarily the set design, but just this deciding what to showcase. I feel like that was a missed opportunity because could have had something more. We did get to see General Azizi's. Well, no, we didn't. No, we just saw them outside in their little. No, okay. Mm-mm. I'd have to watch it again to even remember, but I know that was lacking. Um, Let me tell you. Okay, Sherry Headley, Lisa McDowell, she looked fabulous. We already talked about Wesley Snipes. Again, he worked with what he got. The daughters, listen, their do, their outfits, their vibe, loved it. I can do everything. I can be queen. Loved it. I did. And she looked really, really good. Kiki Lane. She played an old guard, and I think I did a review for Old Guard too. Um, Her character got on my last good nerve on Old Guard. Uh, and I almost did not recognize her. Girl cleans up nice because in Old Guard she was always fighting and getting killed. But in here she like the different hairstyles, like all that, just great. And she looked great. The sisters look great. Really enjoyed her. Uh, it was John Amos. It was nice. John Stamos. Amos. It was nice to see her. We already told y'all about Laval. Um, Jermaine Fowler. That's who played him. Tiana Taylor. Boy, like she looked so good, y'all. She looked so good. I kid you not, she made me want to go get a gym membership right now. And I already sworn her if I'm not going to go to the gym, only because I keep getting gym memberships and then I don't go. And then I get mad at myself because I'm paying all this money. So I'm like, I can work out at home. I don't do that either. I'm getting better. But I was like, bump that. I'm going back to the gym tomorrow. After seeing her, she looks great. And I like the little touchback they did with the chick. General's his sister, she was the one that was still barking like a dog. She looked good. Vanessa Bell, right? She looked good. And then like, I get that they were portraying that even after all this time, things did not change because she was supposed to marry the prince, right? So they can unite their countries together. And she was the same way. Whatever you like, so it was like an ode to the past. Um, and that was cute. There was a lot of little cute stuff that were like, okay, let's give hats off to the past. Um, let's give a, ding, ding, ding to the past, which was really cool. Oh, Garcia Bouvet was up in there. And again, she's in her 50s and she looked great. Louis Anderson was in there. He looked old, just like John Amos. They looked older. Tracy Morgan. I mean, he was Tracy Morgan. Not not much really more I can say about that. Um, the storyline, like Prince, Lavelle falling for his Barbara. Yeah, could have seen that coming. I mean, it was like a basic storyline. It wasn't anything too surprising. You kind of knew what was going to happen. You knew old girl was going to get to be queen eventually at some point because he decreed that she could. It was just a cute movie. It was a C movie. I can't. That's it. I can't say anything else about it. It was a C movie and it was cute and I enjoyed it. Um, and yeah, it's on Prime, so when you have some time, just sit and watch it. It was cute. Again, just a stroll down memory lane. Oh, my last favorite part was it was at the end. And I'm not gonna ruin it because you might that might like you'd be like, oh, okay. But it was the end. It was the guest that they had, the special guest that they had. Like that part was a trip. I like that part. Um, what else? Let me think. Is there anything else? Let me see what I wrote that maybe I didn't mention. Um, okay. Yeah, that's about it. So, in other things, I started reading a book. Let me tell you, it's digital, so I have to pull it up. Let me tell you what it is. Oh, speaking of Wesley Snipes, um, Talon of God. Wesley Snipes, he did a novel and somebody talked about it, and Ray Norman. So I don't know if like Ray maybe wrote it, Mr. Norman wrote it, Wesley Snipes sponsored it. I don't know, because that might have been his ghostwriter and he just slapped his name on it. Whatever. Wesley Snipes and Ray Norman, Talent of God. I started reading that. So I'll let y'all know how that goes. I'm only on chapter 3. And I know I still gotta read Lovecraft Country. So that's it. That's all I have to say about coming to America. Watch it. Let me know what you think if you've seen it already. Again, the review is on lightv.com. Just put your comments here. If you like this review, I'll be putting more. Subscribe, share, like, all that good stuff that they tell you to do, right? And thanks. Good night.